first grade teachers. Today we are going to talk a little bit about representing whole numbers and what students were exposed to in kindergarten and the giant steps they have to take in first grade per your standards. So in kindergarten, students read, write, and represent up to 20, but they don't do that with our place value blocks like we do in first grade. So in first grade, place value blocks, base 10 blocks, are a brand new concept for them. So we never want to start there. We want to connect to what they've learned before, because I don't want a student to just believe me that this is 10. I want them to understand why this is equal to 10. So we start with what they've done in first grade, which is a lot of work with linking cubes, in kindergarten, which is a lot of work with linking cubes. And they go up to 20 with read, write, represent. Now they count higher than that, but their read, write, represent teaks, like yours, go up to 120. Theirs go up to 20. So don't expect a kid to know how to represent 30. They've not done that before. Or 100. They've not done that before. So we want to start this unit with linking cubes so that we can, again, build that understanding of what is a 10 before we expect them to just believe us that this is 10. So we're going to start by building that with linking cubes and understand that we can put it apart and take it together and prove that it's 10 because there are 10 pieces that we put together. We can't prove that with this, not in that way, not in the concrete manipulative way that a student needs to be able to see it. So we would take these and count them as we put them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we want the students to all have their own because they need to do the manipulating. They don't just need to watch you do the manipulating. They need to physically build it to build that concrete understanding and how to move that conceptual understanding from this to this. And if you're a veteran teacher, you know that this movement from this, being able to put them together yourself with linking cubes, to this, being able to just know this is 10 and not just 1, is a tough concept. So we build that through linking cubes to be able to take it apart, put it together, and understand. We use this later in the year when we're adding and subtracting because we can compose and decompose numbers leading to a 10. We want them to see the ways to make a 10. So in this unit, we're talking about numbers up to 120. So we want them to see we build a 10 and then we move to another 10 when we're going to build another number. So if we were going to build 15, then I would build 10 and stop and get more and start the next, because this will be the 10's place and this will be the 1's place. So I want to know how many 10's did I make. I made one set of 10 and then 5 that are by themselves, so the 1's place or the unit's place. So in first grade, they would also write that in expanded form. So they would know that that's 10 plus 5. And we can put that in a place value chart with 10's and 1's. There's 1 10 and 5 1's. And then we move to writing that in standard form of 15. So that's some big steps in first grade, and we do this all the way up to 120. So we would have to move to hundreds, 10's, and 1's and be able to write like 120 is the highest number we go to. We can write any number up to 120, but we do not go above 120 in first grade. So once we've had lots of experience building with linking cubes where we're doing the putting together, the student is what I mean when I say we're putting it together. The student is putting them together, taking them apart, and understanding. We build a 10, we move to another set. We build another 10, we would move to another set. Then we can start talking about that with units. Now here, we can still count them and see that this is 10. So we can make a line of 10 and say, I've made 10, and if I was going to make 15, remember I stop at 10 and I start a new column. So I could make 15 this way, and I would want kids to be able to tell me that's one set of 10 and 5 1's just like here, But I would also want them to be able to tell me that this is 15 ones. So they understand they're writing their numbers in more than one way. It can't always just be tens and ones. They also need to know that this is 15 ones. Okay, once we're getting really good at that, then we can help them understand that 10 ones that they just put together is exactly the same as this 110 that they can't take apart. Then we've helped them understand why this is equal to 10 and not just one thing. They think this is one thing and it's no different than this one thing or this one thing or this one thing. We need to build the understanding that this represents 10 because it's equal to these 10 we just put together. So that's how we move and progress to tens, to understand that this base 10 block is equal to 10 because it's the same size as these 10. And you'll see a lot of teachers that have the very fine Sharpies. I don't have one of those handy or I would show you. And they write on these and they count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We used to, back in the day, have the foam base 10 blocks instead of the hard ones. I would see teachers cut them apart and show kids. They would shoot all across the room and show kids that it's just like 10 pieces, just like this 10, glued together in one big piece. So that takes a lot of understanding and practice for kids to get this. That's very abstract to understand that this is 10, not one thing, because we have one-to-one correspondence. We're used to one thing I'm holding in my hand equals 1. This has to equal 10 because it then is going to build to an understanding later that a dime is 10. They have to know that I don't have 10 things. I have one thing that equals 10. Same thing here. And so then, remember, we have to get all the way up to 120. So we're going to start by using all the tens. Before we ever introduce the 100, we're going to just use tens, and we're going to count them. And we're going to be able to count and say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And when we're ready to start putting them together, we can then do the same thing to understand that this is equal to 100. This is the exact same size, so it is also equal to 100. You can put it on top so they can see. It's the same thing. And you can label these the same way. I happen to have a foam one of these, but I think that'd be a little hard to cut apart. But you can label these the same way. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way to 100. Excuse me, so that they see the relationship and why this one thing is equal to 100. Then last, remember, we go up to 120 in first grade. So we would need to have no more than 120. But remember, they have to represent that in more than one way. So they might see 120 like this. They also need to understand that 120 is the same as 12 tens. Here's 10 tens and 2 more tens. That's 12 tens. It's also equal to, and I don't have that many over here, 120 ones. So they need to build that understanding, and that is why this is such a long unit, because there's a lot of understanding to build here. So remember, we're representing numbers in more than one way. Remember, we're building an understanding of a 10 with unifix cubes or linking cubes of some kind, and your CIS has some. If you don't have any in your classroom, check with your CIS. There's a class set floating around your campus somewhere that can be used. But you've got to build that understanding concretely where they're putting together 10 before we ever move to saying, trust me, this is 10. I don't want them to trust me. I want them to understand why it's 10 because they've built it enough to know. So you're building that foundation of place value of the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds place. And eventually, you'll get to this point of 120. You won't do it quickly. That's why it's a long unit, because it takes a long time to build that understanding. It moves from very concrete, where they're putting it together, to very abstract, where they have to know that this is 120. So take your time on this unit. It's not a fast one. It builds nice and slow.